Buddhas, and empires built on misery and greed. The reason why snakes appear where there is knowledge is because snake bites are very poisonous. Snakes symbolize medicine, and medicine is the root of all knowledge. Someone tells me that in Farsi, to say that someone is without snakes is to say that they are sick. My partner's stepmother tells me that she got over her fear of heights by swallowing a snake gal. I guess there's something in there about how courage is a form of medicine. It takes courage to take medicine. In Chinese medicine, courage is metal, and snake year is the birth of metal. Snake is the primarily energy of fire. Transitions out of the last 3 years with a little earth, and it gives birth to metal. The metal years will come in 2028, 2029, and 2030. The courage that we will use and practice in those years is being born this year of 2025. How does someone give birth to courage? When I think of snakes, I think of Noah, who didn't give birth to the world, but merely repaired it. Noah was a person who was half snake, half woman, and half man. She lived in a time of great chaos, of wars and floods, and wildlife attacks and fires. During this catastrophe, the sky broke in half. Noah repaired the sky, but she did so imperfectly. Before the catastrophe and before the repair, the world was perfect because it was black and white. Good was just good and bad was just bad. Noah repaired the world imperfectly, so she made color. She made the orange glow of the sun at dawn, the chartreuse seeds of the springtime tree, and the glazed violet of medicine herbs that you can pick and smell during the summer. Astrology is a divination tool, one that helps you see. When you look at the world, you see it in color. Does your courage know that the world you are so much a part of is colorful? What do you know about repair? This was a forecast for 2025, year of the wood snake. The reason why me and my friend visited that freshly burned grassland was because we wanted to see snake. We were 2 Chinese American queers looking for Noah. We learned about the war of 1812 and the wars that resulted from that war, about the Misawaki settlement just a little east of where we were, and about how the area was first scouted by the Spanish conquerors, then by the French colonists working the beaver fur trade, and then by the American coal miners and railroad speculators before becoming an ecological wasteland. The reason why a factory farm is a wasteland is because thousands of acres are cleared of life and color and diversity to maintain 1 or 2 species in a perpetual state of collapse. Grasslands have their own cycle. Seed-heavy grasses grow during one phase, and root-heavy grasses take root in the second. When seed-heavy species like corn and soybean are prioritized at the expense of all other life, and the nutrients held by those seeds are not allowed to fall back into the soil but harvested, rich soil that took 10,000 years to make gets depleted in just a few human generations. Nancy, the park worker we met on the trip, tells me that yes, the grassland is a resurrected one. You take all of the seeds that you find in the cemeteries and the roadsides and the alleyways, and you resurrect those seeds using fire. You return something back to the earth by burning. 10 years of burning can repair about an inch of topsoil. When you live in America, you're living in a landscape that is trying to commit suicide. You have to remember that. People don't understand this about America.